Are you optimistic or pessimistic? So, optimism versus pessimism. Optimism is that relentless positivity to expect things to go good, to want the best, to know the best is coming. It's that glass half full mentality. It's looking on the bright side, right? Well, pessimism is the exact opposite. Pessimism is looking on the dark side. Dark Vader.
If you only knew the power of the dark side.
Pessimism is expecting the worst. You're always expecting the worst of a situation. You're always looking at the negatives versus the positives. It's that glass half empty mentality. So that's the difference between the two. Positive, optimistic, negative, pessimistic. Now, how do these affect your mentality? Which one would you rather be? Me, myself, I'm optimistic. I'm optimistic. I look forward to the future. I have hope. I look at the positives. I love the good stuff. I focus on the good stuff. Now, there is a such thing as being overly optimistic. To be overly optimistic is to be naive, as if nothing bad will ever happen, as if it never does. When it does, you never accept the negatives. And that's a fantasy world. We're not living in fantasy. We're living in reality, okay? The reality is, yes, bad things do happen. Bad people do come around. People do say things, try to take you out. Everybody doesn't always have an optimistic point of view. People will say stuff, will try stuff. That's okay. That doesn't have to affect you, but you have to accept these things to be optimistic. One of the great slogans that I go by is expect nothing and accept everything. Try to live by that and it'll lighten the load. So I don't expect you to love me back. I don't expect you to be as positive as I am. I don't expect you to see all of the good. I don't expect you to see my value. I don't expect you to give me a raise. I don't expect, for everything to be going my way at all times. I accept when things go good, but I also accept when things don't go the way that I want them to or the way that I planned them to. How can I make this a difference? How can I move on from this? How can I do better the next time? And things like that. That's my optimism, is I acknowledge, there are some things that you don't want, things that you don't like, but I'm focused on what I do want, because thinking about what can't happen or what won't happen, thinking about the negatives, that's a never-ending loop, man. So many more negatives. This is why misery loves company. This is why negativity spreads faster. There's so many more things that can happen that's wrong than what can happen that's right. So focusing on the negatives, you're in a never-ending loop. Optimism builds confidence and self-esteem, because you're not only thinking positive about everything outwardly, you're thinking positive about yourself. You're thinking about yourself and what you're going to be able to accomplish. You're thinking about the things that you have done and what you're working towards, what you're going to do. You're thinking about the love that maybe you haven't received yet, but you're giving it to yourself. Everything that you're thinking about in a positive manner, that's going to build your confidence. It's going to put out there. It's going to protrude. Now, pessimism robs you of joy and happiness. Pessimism gives you a disillusion of comfort, because at least I know what to expect. At least I know that things are going to go wrong. At least I know that failure is prominent. At least I know these things, so I'm comfortable with it because I know things are going to go wrong. That is horrible. I cannot be pessimistic. I cannot. I will not accept failure before trying. And that's why a lot of people don't try stuff. They accept failure before ever even doing anything. They just automatically, I know this won't work. Or I know this ain't going to happen. Or I know people won't show up. People are not going to support. People aren't going to buy from me. Why would they do that? Oh, that's pessimism. That's pessimism. So why be pessimistic? You got a false sense of comfort from the thought that, at least I know what to expect. And that's not true. Pessimism creates doubtfulness. It creates a low self-esteem. You're now lacking confidence because you don't believe in yourself. So why should anyone else believe in you? Why should anyone else support you? You don't support yourself. How can somebody else see the value in you when you already think that nobody will? Pessimism is usually in gossip. It might come off as a joke. It might be funny, but misery loves company, so watch how you're talking. Pessimism takes away opportunity. How can you see an opportunity, which is a good thing, when you're looking at, all of the failures, all of the reasons why not? Opportunity comes to you and you want to take the time to think about it. You're usually thinking about why it won't happen or why this is not as good of a thing as you initially thought it was. Most of the time you get an idea and you're like excited about it and you take time to think about it. You're only thinking about how you can get away from it. You're only thinking yourself out of the opportunity. It makes it so that you can't see the good in life. You're always focusing on the negatives. Oh, I want to go talk to so-and-so. They probably don't want to talk to me. Oh, I want to go do this. That probably won't happen. Oh, I really want this. I don't make enough money for that. I ain't gonna never be able to afford that. Saying things like that, it's self-sabotage. It is self-sabotage. It's so irritating to hear people talk about themselves and their circumstances like that. You're completely taking yourself away from what's meant for you. You wouldn't be seeing these things. You wouldn't be thinking these things if it wasn't meant for you. So stop taking yourself away from what is meant for you. Lastly, pessimism is driven out of fear. Okay, you've experienced something or you've seen something or you heard something that tells you you can't, you won't, you aren't. But it's not true. It's not true. Optimism is where you believe and hope and, see the good. So be optimistic. This is optimism versus pessimism. Be optimistic. Try not to be overly optimistic to where you're naive as if nothing will ever happen bad. Bad things do happen, but that doesn't stop you. That doesn't stop life. That doesn't stop time. Nothing has to stop because bad things happen. Keep moving forward. Keep pressing on, okay? Keep thinking about the good and seeing the good in life. When you're optimistic, you can see the beauty in your surroundings. You're not comparing yourself and comparing your experiences to others or your old ones. Let's say, for instance, I had a great vacation. Nothing will ever amount to this vacation. That's pessimistic versus I'm having a great time now. I had a great vacation. I'm having a great time now. That's optimistic. I'm looking forward to the next one. Optimism, you can see the beauty in the moment. You're present. You can see this butterfly float by and feel the calmness and the grace versus being pessimistic and you focusing on the pollen that's outside. I ain't even going outside. Small things, but them small things matter, man. Be optimistic, people. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. It's May Mental Health Awareness Month, and we're bringing awareness to all of these things pertaining to mental health. This is AIM, Always Improving the Mind, where we build the mindset for success and self-development. And I'm talking to all of you. If you're here, subscribe, and let's keep building.